Facebook, we are not live today, but I'm here to answer your questions that you submitted through our questionnaire last month. I've been wanting to do a video like this for quite a while. I personally, business philosophy, just be as transparent as possible about everything. So whatever questions you asked on the questionnaire, I'm answering every single one. There was a few repeats, so consolidated those. Otherwise, every single one, answers coming your way. I'm not sure this video is gonna be, if it's gonna be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half hour, hour. Who knows? As long as it takes, you're getting your answers. So let's jump right in. The first question is, how did you get started in the business and what's your favorite part of it? That's going to be a long answer to start off. So we'll start going back a long ways. Growing up in Swisher, one of my favorite days of the year was the Swisher garage sale day. We would set up at my Aunt Dawn's house, big multi-family garage sale. Couldn't miss it. But I always loved trying to figure out a way to draw more customers in, whether that was making the free box look more appealing or moving stuff around on tables so the good stuff's up front. So that's where my love for all things thrifty, I suppose, started. And then once I got to going into college, to make money to live, I was flipping online, doing the eBay reselling game. Love that. Love going to garage sales. If you ever see me out and about at a thrift store, garage sale, estate sale, I love it. Can't get enough. So I'm still out there. So I was doing that to put myself through college. After college, me and my wife, Lindsay, girlfriend at the time, went and lived in Taiwan for a year. I tried my best to find reselling opportunities there, just to scratch the itch of going to garage sales even. The flea market was the best bet. Brought home a couple souvenirs, but that's about it. But yeah, loved it there. That was so much fun. And then once we came back, the option was find a job or try to do reselling full time. So I chose that one since I had experience with it and enjoyed it, was doing good. It was great. I love the freedom of being my own boss and not, having anyone to be beholden to besides me and my bank account and eBay account and getting those listings up. But I ended up getting a call in 2021 from a cousin who, a member of the other side of the family, their grandpa had passed away and they were clearing out the house into a dumpster in Amana. And they knew I sold online, said, hey, do you want to come down, pick kind of what we're going to be throwing out? I said, well, stop that. Better idea. I've always wanted to host an estate sale. How about I finish cleaning out for you, you get paid for it, and you don't have to touch it again. They said, that sounds like a lot better idea than throwing it all in dumpsters. So went down there, set up my first sale. Actually ran the sale over Oktoberfest down in Amana. And I loved it. It was great just being able to, go through the home, find the treasures. There was interesting stuff that had to be, thoroughly researched. Wasn't straightforward pricing. So I felt like as long as I could get past that hurdle, that I could make it. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Those family members were actually realtors, so they put me in contact with a realtor friend of theirs to do another estate sale. Again, more of just kind of a tryout, see if I liked it. I did. Spoiler alert. It was a sale up in Marion, had a bunch of Barbies, if anyone remembers that. And then, yeah, I formed the business after that. And here we are 3 years and a couple months later. First year did 10 sales, not including the first two. Second year, 19 sales. Third year, 19 sales. And we're one under the belt now for this year. So next sale will be the business's 50th sale. That's very exciting. I'm super excited about that. I haven't decided how we're going to celebrate yet, but that's coming up here. We'll figure that out soon. When I did all the research, listening to all the content I could online about how to run and host estate sales, spoiler alert, there's not too many resources about that. But they said the average for an estate sale was about $10,000. And I thought, oh, that's, a decent amount of money. You have some sales that might be 4,000. You might have others that might be 40, and everything in between. But it's exciting that next sale will be number 50, and it will also be the $500,000th that we've made out of the proceeds from an estate sale home. So that's very exciting. I won't be counting the online estate sale because then I don't get to celebrate in person with people. But more on that later. I didn't mention that yet. So yeah, that's how I got started in the business. The favorite part is just that it's different every single time. You get to go through the house. You kind of learn a little bit what the people are about by going through their things, setting it up, organizing it. You just really feel like you're doing a good thing, making it so everything that someone has collected over the course of a lifetime gets appreciated and has a new life. So that's question number 1. Check. Long ways to go. Buckle on up. We're in there now. So the second question is, why are estate sales your passion? Similar along the lines of all that. You're always learning. You're always going to have stuff that you don't know what it is, and you have to figure it out. Otherwise, you could cost the family a decent amount of money. So you're always learning. I love always finding new ways to advertise, to promote myself, to just make the process smoother, setting up, running the sale. So if there's something you don't like, it's a learning process. It's always changing. We'll fix it. We'll get it right eventually. Every house is always different. You might have a house where it's all modern stuff, and then the next house is filled floor to ceiling with antiques. So it's always different. That's something I love about it. In my opinion, it's the purest form of recycling, so I really like that too. It's good to be environmentally conscious. You can recycle things to where go to a factory, get made into something new, or you could just buy used and give the item you're buying a second life. Why buy new? Slightly used will do. That's a slogan growing up, not mine. But don't want to get in trouble with copyright there. So I love the recycling aspect of it. Try to save as much out of the landfill as possible, even after the sale. I would be easy to throw it all in a dumpster, but I want to make sure it has a home afterwards. That I'm not putting anything to waste. Usually if it's going to the dump, it's something that's broken or, packing materials in a cardboard box. So really try to minimize what gets wasted. And the last part that I love is the community. I love all of you. You're great. But I just love that you see the same 500 people at any given weekend that you're hosting a sale. It's in a strange way, its own little economy where you have resellers who you're selling things for a family. They're buying to sell to make money to provide for their family and buy more at the next sale. So I think that's a really fun part of it. The next question is, how long have you been going to sales, and what is your all-time best purchase from a sale? Like I said before, garage sale days were the start of it for me. As far as estate sales growing up, I didn't really know that existed. And back then it was a lot smaller of a thing. There was more auctions. So we would go to probably an auction once a year with my family. Always enjoyed that. And then what was the best all-time purchase? So from an estate sale, my best all-time purchase was out of a sale in central Iowa. And that was right when I was starting out. That was, I think, the same month that I hosted the first one for my family members. And it was a watch, a Seiko, which was the same kind that was worn, same model, from Apocalypse Now, Martin Sheen. So I bought it for $40 and sold it for $2,700. So that's my best estate sale purchase so far. So I don't think you'll be finding any of those at my sales anytime soon. Hopefully I don't miss that. Highly unlikely. And then my best sale it was also tied. I bought a lot of die-cast sprint cars, dirt cars. And that was like $600 for a lot of, I think there was about 120. And in there was 4 that were the same exact car. I thought, that's kind of strange. And I looked on the labels and they were all out of different serial numbers. So out of 1,000, out of 10,000. There was one that was out of 24. I caused a big ruckus in the dirt sprint car diecast collector community when I posted it on their Facebook group and said, hey, how much is this worth? Because I couldn't find any comps on it. And that ended up also selling for $2,600. And those are the 2 best ones. Pretty wild that, there's a market for that out there, but I'm not surprised in the least anymore after doing this. The next question was, what's my favorite part of doing sales? Kind of the same, but right now I'm going to answer you guys. You're the best part of it. Always love chatting with people, whether it's out and about at thrift stores, at Walmart, at Carlos O'Kelly's. You never know. It's always fun to run into you guys. What is the favorite sale I've had? It's a big toss-up. There's so many different ones, different favorites for different reasons. I feel like I'm talking about my children. But the first one is pretty hard to beat. It was a fun atmosphere because it was Oktoberfest. It was my first sale, so I was all excited. I'm excited about everyone, really. But that was a good time. The sale that had a bunch of mid-century modern stuff in a wood-sided, flat-roofed, split-level house. That's got to be up there for me. It's a room I ended up being in, so it's a special place in my heart. Never probably will top that as far as favorites. There's the antique house that had 2 weekends full of completely different items. I just loved being able to tell people, oh yeah, come on back in 2 weeks. It's going to be all new stuff. Cleared out, didn't have a single item that was repeated. So that was pretty fun. And then of course the sale with all the watches and jewelry from this past year. It was just so much fun doing all the research, opening up the boxes, finding treasures every single time. Always the fun part of it. The next question is, do you have any hobbies? Well, I would say treasure hunting, which can be taken as garage sailing, but also I love gold panning. So now I'm only looking for gold at garage sales, but I'm looking for gold in the creeks. I do that around here. It's just flour gold, so it's a little sad because when we were in Taiwan, there's small gold nuggets in the river, and you can find those. So that was a big part of what I was doing in Taiwan while I was over there teaching English. But also looking for rocks and minerals. My brother owns a rock and mineral business. He'll be at the Rock and Mineral Show here in Cedar Rapids at the end of March. Check out the Big Sluice trailer. I'll probably be there working. And then we also like to find them in ourselves out of the dirt. This is a diamond from the Crater Diamonds in Arkansas. If any of you ever want to go, it's 11 hours south. Such a great time. Everyone's in a good mood because you're just digging in dirt like your kids. I'm a little more serious, digging 30 buckets a day of heavy rocks and sifting through it in cold water or really sweaty hot weather. Yeah, found a few of those. If you're ever interested in that, chat me up about it. Love talking about it. Found a couple and put them in my wife's wedding ring. So if she's ever wearing that at a sale, check that out. It's pretty neat. I like jewelry making. I helped design the ring. I made the band for that. That's another hobby. I like NASCAR racing. I was a big Jeff Gordon fan in the past. Every year we have a big Daytona 500 party, so that's one thing I like. And then the biggest hobby nowadays is traveling. If you couldn't tell, a lot of times I'm like, oh, no sale next week. I'll be off going wherever. But yeah, today even I tried to get little August passport photo figured out. So he'll be able to join us on our trip soon. But love traveling. A few of my favorite places represented back here with souvenirs. So yeah, gotta love that stuff. The next question that you guys had is, lost my place, one moment, is what do you look for in a sale? There are so many different factors that might get put into, whether I do a sale or not, whether it's priced higher or lower. Some things are, do I think that you guys are going to be interested in the items that are in the home? If it's stuff that's tougher to sell, that's really large, and there's not that much smaller stuff, that's going to be a harder sell. Nowadays, just thinking about how far away from home the sale is going to be, I'm always open to check out any sale, no matter the distance. I always think there's always a solution to be able to work it. If it makes sense, monetarily, effort-wise, I'm probably going to be considering that. Do you ever turn down any sales? All the time, lots of them. And that could be for various reasons. I don't typically do houses that have been smoked in. I haven't done it yet. I'm just extremely sensitive to smoke. I don't do sales, sometimes there's not enough in the home. Other times, maybe the timeline is a little too quick of a turnaround that I can't make work in my schedule and theirs. So that's usually the main reasons why it might be turned down. The next question is, how long does it take you to prep a house for a sale? I usually tell families when they call that it's about a three-week process. So the first week is setup. That's cleaning all the items, pulling them out of boxes, drawers, closets, putting them on tables and organizing them. And then I usually like having photos out on Monday or Tuesday of sale week. And then I'll spend the next couple days usually finishing setup, stuff that might not be as important, not needing to be in the pictures, making sure everything's wiped down and stuff. And then I will price usually Wednesday, Thursday of sale week. Typically it can get done in a day for the pricing. And then we host the sale 2 or 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then I have a week to clean out. So typically the clean out is included in my services. That changes just based on house needs, but most of the time I can make that happen. And then I say I have a week to clean out after the conclusion of the sale. So generally about a 3-week process. Next question is, how do you come up with prices, experience or online or books? And what is the most difficult part of pricing? Had a few people ask about pricing. And, for bulk household stuff, it's more just experience of kind of keeping mental note of what people are willing to pay for items. If I have a nice Corningware dish and one week it's $5 and gets sold instantly, next week it might be $6, and see how that goes. Maybe that sells on the last day. So it's like, oh, $5 is probably the right price. So that's more the experience realm of it. I feel like I have a decent eye for what needs to be looked up. So if it's something that I don't feel comfortable pricing, even if there's a specific category where it may be 99% one price, and there's always a chance that it could be something good, say 90s sports cards, I'll go through it just to make sure it's not the specific one that's worth a lot of money. So yeah, that's usually the pricing process. I don't typically use any books. There's been the occasion where I've had to search because it's a really specific item, so I'll go and through some antique books and see what that can tell me. But the market just changes so fast nowadays that it's hard to use those as a good gauge on value. And what is the most difficult part of pricing? Difficult part would be the really unique things, things that sell maybe once a year, or maybe there's no history of sales for the item. But specifically, the more handmade, leaning towards folk art pieces, that's the part that is, the most difficult for me at this point. But that's still being fine-tuned, and we'll get there eventually. But I feel like I get a good handle on it. If I'm not comfortable with, pricing it, I'll always lean to the higher end. Or like, for instance, in this last sale, that really unique Santa hanging light, I had no idea. So just taking offers on it through the weekend, and that went smoothly. Everyone was happy, and family was thrilled with what we got out of it. So that's the most difficult part of pricing for me. The next question is, do all items in the home before the sale make it into the estate sale? And the answer is yes. We don't do any pre-saling. So if there's any high-end furniture in the house, or if there's, any fancy clothing, nothing's pulled out before the sale. There may be exceptions to where a family member wants to keep the item, but I'll always note it, or in my Facebook page, you guys usually see it. I know there's instances you've probably seen before. So I always make sure that the family knows that it should be out of the sale, out of the house before I start work, but there's always things that pop up that they didn't see in boxes. And that's completely understandable. At the end of the day, my duty is to them. So, but as far as, pre-saling, there's no pre-saling involved. The only exception to what doesn't make it in the house is if there's like a small amount of gold jewelry specifically. So if there's, one gold bracelet, it doesn't make sense for me to bring it my display case and make a special spot on the table to sell that. So I will sell it on behalf of the family outside of the sale. And that's really also to deal with security issues. Luckily haven't dealt with many instances of theft at all in this. I trust all you guys. That's the beauty of having a following and seeing the same people every weekend. But just to make sure everything's safer, jewelry is so small that usually goes out of the sale. If there's a larger collection of it where it makes sense to have a display of it, then I put it in. I like being able to offer that to you guys, even if it's what I will get or a little cheaper outside. So that would be the only exception. But otherwise, no pre-sales. Don't even think about it. The next question is, how much do you charge for an estate sale? I love being transparent. I will be as transparent as possible, as always. I wish I could tell you a direct answer, because that'd be super easy and nice. But it does vary based on the workload and the value that's in the home. Some homes you walk in and it's almost sale ready. It's beautifully clean. It's high-end items, and that's going to be a lower price. Other times you're dealing with a dumpster and you're scrubbing down things before it's presentable, and that's going to be a higher price. But I would say about 95% of the time it falls between 35 and 40% is what my cut is. So yeah, that's the general average to what I charge. There's no added fees for advertising, labor, anything like that. So it's strictly commission, which means if I'm making more money, you're making more money. So we all have an incentive to get the most amount for the items. Personally, I think that's real important. So that's the way I do it. That's where I would say the most differences between companies around. Lots of great companies in Cedar Rapids. You can't go wrong. But that's usually the thing that changes the most, is just, what is included in fees and stuff. So yeah, that's how much I charge for an estate sale. How do you handle competition from other estate sale companies? Going back straight into it. Like I said, there's lots of great options. There's plenty of homes in Cedar Rapids to go around, so I'm never really concerned with competition. I feel like we do a good job, so I just focus on my business and doing the best we can. And as long as we're doing good, word of mouth is going to go around, and let my reputation speak for itself. But like I said, there's lots of great options in Cedar Rapids, so always happy to pass on sales to other folks if we get busy. There's lots of instances where I'm booked up for 2 months straight, and a family says, well, we need this sale to happen in 3 weeks. So we can give them a list of phone numbers, say, call these folks, you're in good hands with them. And yeah, I try to be friendly with everyone. So I go to everyone's sales because it's so much fun. I love the networking. So yeah, that's all you watching. Thanks for being a friend. All right, the next question's a little different, so I'll try to answer it best as possible. It says, what type of ceremony, wish, or tradition do you have when selling a person's life possessions to express gratitude and acknowledge the transfer from previous owner to new? I don't really have any traditions or anything. A lot of times I'll just sit back at the end of the sale and kind of look around quietly, and you can almost feel the house sighing a sigh of relief, just that all the possessions are out and it just feels lighter in there. But it's just great for me to know that all the items in the home that are sold are getting a second life. They're not going to the dump. They're getting another chance to make a family member happy. Just all the stories where it's like, oh, I used to have this as a kid, or my sister got this when my parents had their estate and I wish it was mine. So I got this one now. I love all the stories to hear what people do with things. Even, furniture flippers that refurbish. I love seeing all the unique things and creative ways you come up with giving items new life. The next question, how many Beanie Babies were in your most recent sale? It's been a little bit now since that sale, but about 1,000. So each box was numbered on top where it's, oh, there's 82 in that box, 87 in that box. So about 1,000. That's quite accurate, I think. What is your most incredible and unique find that you have discovered while preparing an estate sale? There's a couple that come to mind. I was once setting up a sale, and it was a beautiful wardrobe in the upstairs bedroom, and I pulled out a little velvet baggie, and it was just full of gold jewelry. So that's always a fun moment when you're like, oh, hey, did you guys know about this? And they say, oh yeah, that's too gaudy for us. Sell it, please. Get it out of here. I'm like, oh, that I can do. From the last sale, the Silver Strike casino coins, those were in a pickle tub in the office. So that was just fun to see those in a random spot. Almost 100 of them were in the same container. So that was a little different. And then, of course, couldn't not mention the garden gnomes that were in the double estate antique sale last year. Those were the Weller garden elf gnome things. Those were really fun. They were sitting out in the open when I got there on either side of the couch. And a lot of times with the pricing, I wait till the very end of all my pricing, because all the average kitchenware, general household, general decor, even most antiques, I can get a price really quick, price it and go. But for the things that are going to take a long time to research, I wait till the very end. I used my Google Lens and had to scroll down a few pages, and the only thing that popped up for those was a screenshot of Antiques Roadshow, and I was a little stressed out because at that time it was 9 o'clock at night, and I knew someone would be probably waiting at the door pretty quickly. So yeah, made the Facebook post, made people known, and then they ended up going to a gentleman in Ohio. So drove 8 hours here, picked him up, handed me an envelope of money, and drove home. So those are, kind of the highlights of things we've come across in these 49 sales. have you ever found the same items at sales that seem to go together in a collection, like finding a missing puzzle piece at another sale? That really, I think this has happened. I even asked my aunt, who helps me set up a lot of these sales, and she's like, yeah, I think there was something. But couldn't come up with an answer for that. But I will say it's kind of interesting when unique items are grouped together. One example would be anvils. Like, never sold an anvil before, hardly ever see them at any other sales. And then I think we had 2 back-to-back in sales. It's like, oh, I didn't expect to see that again. Hello. There's been a couple things like that where they're unique items that follow you to the next house. So that's always a fun thing to see. Moving up to the next category, we have how can customers promote your business? I didn't put this question in here. I promise, someone asked me. But just tell your friends and family, hey, if you're looking to save some money, Galvin Estate Sales, or just estate sales in general, go to all of them in town, check out the Penny Saver, follow the Facebook page. Good way to save money, find interesting things you won't find at Walmart or the mall or even designer stores. You can also leave reviews. You can do that on Facebook or on Google. I'm going to be building that up here pretty soon, so I'm sure I'll send a link eventually in the Facebook page, kind of do something fun with that. But even all your likes, all your comments on each post, if you hit the like button down there or down there on this video, it'll boost it in the algorithm so more people will see it. Hopefully we'll be able to know what we're doing here. So yeah, all that helps, and I appreciate the question. Is there any way to make videos so we can stop or scroll to better examine something if we would like to see it a little closer? There's not really a way to stop the videos of my walkthroughs and zoom in, especially the live videos don't have the best quality. But I will say Facebook limits me to 80 photos for a single post. So for a sale, unless I need about 160, I generally try and keep it to the 80. But if you're ever wanting more detailed photos, a lot of times you can go on estatesales.net or .org. I post on both. And there I can have up to 200. So I usually try and fill in for a few more pictures. So if you're looking for a little closer up pictures, that'd be the place to check. Someone asked, if I wear the Galvin Estate Sales t-shirt I won, do I get a 5% discount? Unfortunately, no. But hypothetically, if I have $1 in my pocket at another person's sale and I see it, I feel like I'd have to give it to you. So just maybe, wink, wink, nudge, nudge me at the other sales. And if I have $1, it's all yours. But also, there'll be more shirts to come. I know a lot of you didn't get the chance to have one. We'll get some more here in the very near future. Next question is, what happens to all the stuff left over? That really just depends. Sometimes there's a thrift store down the street. I will take the items there. That's all theirs. I generally don't keep anything from estate sales. I think there's one thing back here. This is from my first estate sale in Amana. Had to keep that just as a little souvenir. But generally I don't keep anything. I never bring items to other sales in the future. If I do keep something, it's usually I pay a little bit to the family and I'll sell it online to where it makes sense for both of us, because otherwise it was just going to get to donate in the first place. But there has been instances leading into this next question, which is, are you able to donate your leftovers to Central Furniture Rescue on 16th Ave southwest side of town? It's a nonprofit organization that volunteers help clean up and fix items to give to people in the community in need. I've done this in the past. They've gotten donations from me, but typically there's not a lot of furniture left over at the end or kitchen items that would check their boxes that they would be interested in. But if there is a quantity that would make it worth it to make the trip over to them, I definitely try and do so. Yeah, My aunt is on the board there, so there's a Galvin in there. So yeah, that's a great organization. If you have things you're wanting to donate, furniture, kitchen stuff, I know other things, it's a list on their website. Check it out, donate to them, and it's a great cause. Next question is, do you hire any helpers? Not at this time. I have lots of family and they're all assisting me in the sales. Got my lovely wife, my aunts help me out, my mother, my brother, my sister, lots of folks. So yeah, at this time, no hiring helpers. But if we grow huge, you betcha, you'll be the first to know. The next question, we're in our final segment here. It's not quite a question, but we're going to talk about it. It says, make it cheaper because I got to make a profit, bruh. I'm trying the best I can. So I try my best to make it fair for everyone. But my answer is, I'll see you on discount days. And if you're a reseller, if it's, the last day of the sale, maybe ask me if there's anything that's worth flipping, because I don't want to build a death pile. I don't like being more of a storage business than a selling business. Estate sales, you're hosting a sale, selling thousands of items in 1 week, and then it's all gone. And online selling, it's storage for maybe a couple of years. I know there's things there on my eBay page that have just sat for years because I started doing this and don't list anything anymore. And every few weeks or months, there'll be a sale and I'll have to find it. So yeah, ask what the best deal is. I might have something in mind that I'll say, oh, well, that was marked at 35 and now it's 15, but it sells for 90 on eBay. There's instance that last sale and it went unpurchased. So always feel free to ask. Next question is, did you ever find August? And the answer is luckily yes. But he did grab hold tight and make me bring home a little infant big Beanie Baby plush that has a rattle inside of it. So it's a very cute elephant, but had to bring that home. But yes, we did find him. He's safe and sound, sleeping now. And thanks for your concern. Next question is, do you do living estate sales? Yes, I'll do any sale. I do lots of moving sales, downsizing sales, and of course, just standard estate sales where the family members have passed. But yeah, it's a little tougher, managing the space, especially if it's a downsizing sale. You can't have items mixed in that are, oh, I'm keeping that, but that's for sale. So yeah, I do living estate sales all the time. So thanks for the question. Hit me up if you need any assistance. Why not start estate sales on Thursdays? I may shortly. So that was one of the questions in the questionnaire. It went over well. And yeah, typically it's mostly a limitation due to the assistants that I have. I can't host the sale alone. That'd be not very safe, securely, and the line would go pretty slow if it was just me. So as long as I have help, I'm definitely open to that, and I'm sure you'll see that this year. Next question is, what is your favorite vacation spot? That's a tough one. See some souvenirs from Italy, Egypt, lots of great places. Anytime you're going out of the country, generally it's going to be a good trip. I love learning about cultures, love trying new foods. I'm a very picky eater, but I try to be as adventurous as possible. I would say a great option if you're going easy, but like everything you could want on a trip, I would say Italy. That is a fun one. That's one of my favorites. You have relaxation. You can go to the Cinque Terre and just sit overlooking the ocean and beautiful painted houses, drinking wine. You could go to Rome for the history, go see the Vatican. The museums are just unbelievable there. And then you have, of course, the food. You could go get focaccia. You could go down to Naples and get pizza, birthplace of pizza, see Pompeii. So Italy's great, but I also have to say, we lived in Taiwan, and that is just So underrated. It has just about anything you could want. Beautiful scenery. You could go to a secret beach that has monkeys playing around. I love gold panning. One of my favorite places there is in Jofen. It's a old Japanese mining town. Now it's known for their tea houses. But that's great. I love Taiwan. Just the food's amazing. Main food there is like fried chicken of all things, and they can't miss. KFC, way better in Taiwan. So check it out. Let me know. And if you're going to a vacation in Europe, I always consume all the Rick Steves content that I can before I go. So that's my hot tips. And next question, we got 2 more. We're almost there. Is what changes would you like to see for Galvin estate sales in the next 5 years? I would say a mix of quantity and quality estate sales. So doing more frequently, and that's more just getting the processes down. So really maximizing my time, figuring out storage. So getting a trailer that I can take between sales, so I don't have to put all my tables in the corner of the garage or leave them in my van for a couple days while I'm waiting to get the keys and start on the next sale. I would also like to up my online auction presence. That might not be a thing that happens very regularly, but there's definitely a need for it as there's coming up. This should be for the next question. But soon I will have the first online auction for an estate. The home has some nice furniture. There wasn't an overwhelming amount of stuff. So it would have been, a smaller estate sale. But there's some really nice high quality furniture, and the home has bright white carpets all throughout. So it was not feasible to have a sale and risk damaging the floors. So should be an estate sale online coming up. You'll see all the information for that on the Facebook page, but don't worry, it's not going to take the place of all the regular estate sales. It's too much fun getting to see everything, selling things, being able to have you touch, feel, make your decisions there in person. That won't be going away anytime soon. And then the next 5 years, another goal would be to have a sale event. And that's just going to be left up to interpretation for now. It's a secret, can't tell you. But should be having some fun with that. So eventually you'll hear more details. And the last question is, what is coming up in the near future? Again, we have the first online auction. That's going to be through HiBid. There's other services in town that have used that, so should be familiar with a good amount of the customer base. So check that out. There might be something you need. There will be in-person sales soon. Nothing to disclose right now. I took February off to hang out with August. Lindsay went back to work, so I'm Mr. Babysitter, and he's not the most helpful guy with the estate sale setup. He's not carrying boxes up from the basement yet. He's not even telling me hi. So he's not helping me too much at these sales. So took February off. We're gonna get back into full swing. I expect to be booking up real quick here soon. It's about that time. People love selling their houses in the spring, so time's coming. There's gonna be lots of sales here soon. Another thing in the near future I'm real excited about is I'll be having brochures. So it's gonna have a lot of the answers that I gave as far as the business part of it. Kind of will have everything I tell in my consultations just in brochure form. So if you want to take those, give them to friends, family, that'll be great. I'm really excited about that. I think that's going to be a really nice thing to have. I've also been working on improving the website. Don't look, it's not fixed yet. And also getting a text and email list. I've been working on those things, kind of fixing and providing more signage for the sales. So that'll be something new once we get back going. And yeah, like I said, next sale, number 50 for the business, number 500,000th dollar. So all exciting things. Well, the future's bright here at Galvin Estate Sales HQ. And thanks so much for putting up with me. Thanks for making it to the end of this video. Be sure to hit the like button down below, comment, tell me what your favorite estate sale has been, maybe your favorite purchase. And yeah, thank you again for all your support. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave them below. I'll try and type them out, get back to you. I tried to think about any questions anyone might have if I needed to fill in any blanks. So there was 1 or 2 questions that I added in. So yeah, thanks again, everyone. I really appreciate it, and have a great one.